Hey guys, welcome back. This is part 4 of my hunting slash tactical gear review, and this is going to be on the rifle. Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go into all the things that I have on my rifle and in my rifle. Not gonna spend too much time on one particular item. If you guys have any requests for any one specific item that you'd like me to go a little bit more in detail on, please leave a comment below, and I'd be more than happy to accommodate that and try to make a video for you guys on that one. All right, so let's kind of jump right in. So the rifle itself, this is it's a Daniel Defense. It's a DD M4 V7, and so far this rifle has been an excellent rifle. And this is the rifle that I take with me when I'm hunting. This is definitely my first choice for hunting, for everything. This is gonna be my go-to rifle, kind of my do-it-all rifle. And Daniel Defense. I can't really say I can't say enough good things about them. They're as a rifle, it's pretty amazing. I've thrown all kinds of different ammunition inside of this thing, and I've never had a failure. So yeah, and I think Daniel Defense, they have that kind of reputation, and they are a very, very good rifle. And like I said, I've taken it out many times, shot it many times, and no issues whatsoever with this rifle at all. The rail, it originally came with the M-LOK rail. I'm not a big fan of M-LOK. I have an M-LOK on one of my other rifles. For me, I like the ability to be able to move my pieces around as I see fit, and kind of move them around and switch them around. And I don't like to unscrew something and then re-screw it down. Granted, it is a little bit heavier than the M-LOK, but for me personally, I prefer the pick rail, the quad pick rail. So yeah, let's move on to the buttstock. The buttstock, or the hand grip, is original Daniel Defense. The buttstock, this is a Magpul, and it's the Magpul version that has the, it's got the little watertight compartments in here. And I think originally they were designed to hold like batteries or something like that. But, I'm kind of the tradition of, I really want like a cleaning kit inside of my rifle, because I remember, back in the Marine Corps, you had the fixed buttstock, and then the fixed buttstock, there was a little compartment for your weapons cleaning kit. And that's actually where I kept all my weapons cleaning kit, was in that was in the buttstock. So I really wanted to make something where I could carry my weapons cleaning kit in my rifle. So I'll kind of open that up for you guys and show you guys how I've done that. This one, and obviously they have them on both sides here. Okay, and so on this side, come on, get out. So I put this little I put some why can't I recall the names right now, the little swabs, for the bore swabs. Okay, and these are the rifle cleaning rods, and I had to find these are from Otis, OTIS, yeah. And these are the little copper rods, and if you put them all together, and I had to find them this size, and it was pretty difficult to find them at this size, but I think I found them on Optics Planet. But yeah, essentially, to handle the 16-inch barrel comfortably, it required a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 here at the end. So a total of 7 of these cleaning rods in order to match that barrel to get to the end of the you know, all the way through to the barrel. Okay, so I've got a cleaning rod kit there. On this side, I bought one of these guys. Kind of a little difficult to get out. And this is, obviously, this is CLP. Okay, this is the brake clean. And this little needle, I had to trim that and cut that slightly in order to make this fit in here. Because as you can see, there's these little, there's a little hole in there and it fits perfectly in there. So I had to size that and cut that in order to make this fit inside of here. So yeah, so I've got the cleaning swabs here, and then here at the bottom, I've got more cleaning swabs. And again, the cleaning swabs, they're dual purpose. You know, they're kind of a sound dampener, so that way I don't have things rattling around. And they also do that for the cleaning rod as well. Okay, and so I take everything out of here. Okay, and I'll move this right now so you guys can see it all. Okay, so this is for a 9mm because I do carry I carry my 6 hour, as you guys can remember from my previous belt video. So I carry that with me. Obviously this one is for this rifle. There's an AP brush, and you know, you can take this off, screw this guy on, and you've got your AP brush there. Okay, this in conjunction with I have that Leatherman mutt also from the belt video. You know, and the Leatherman mutt, that has its own kind of cleaning tools and stuff like that, or weapon maintenance tools on that particular Leatherman that actually work in conjunction with this. So yeah, so I've got all the patches and all that stuff here. I hope you guys can see it. Okay, and then I also keep a quarter in here, and people are like, and I remember I had one guy look at my rifle one time, and he was like, "Why do you keep this quarter in your, in your rifle?" And I said, "Well, a quarter is perfectly made for these guys here, for the screws on my ACOG." Okay, so I use it for that, to tighten the ACOG screws down, or to untighten them, or to loosen them when I need to. Yeah, so that's the cleaning kit that goes into the buttstock, and it's also within my hand grip. Okay, very small, but it'll get the job done. It'll do what I need it to do, and obviously, if worst comes to worst, if you run out of these little bore patches, you can always cut the bottom of your shirt. So yeah, let's. I'm not sure where to go. Let's go to the inside. I want to go to the inside before we go to the outside. So on the inside here, since I have all the tools, I think it's good. Oops. Okay, let's detent that, because I don't want to get my pretty fingernails dirty. Okay, so this one is pretty much all the internals, the trigger system, and then the buffer, and then the safety. This is all by Geisley. This is the buffer spring, and as you can see, it's, I forgot the exact term of this one, but yeah, it's coiled, and as you can see, it's kind of unique. It doesn't look like a normal one, and this one is actually, it's worked out very, very well. And sometimes if I swap triggers, like when I have like a binary trigger or something like that, and I'm doing, rapid fire shooting with this particular rifle, this spring does extremely well. But what this really does well is, for the AR owners that are watching this, I'm sure when you rack your charging handle back and you rack your bolt back, sometimes you'll hear that kind of like a little bit of a grit, that every time you're racking it back or racking it forward, or you'll hear a little rattle. And you don't get that that little vibration, that little rattle with this particular buffer spring. The only caveat to that is this is not a standard buffer spring, so I mean, it comes with the spring, the actual buffer itself, but you know, just to be aware, you can't get a normal you know, buffer and then expect it to work with the buffer spring. Okay, so let's stick that bad boy back in here. Okay. And then the trigger itself, again, as I said, that's from Geisley. Okay, and this is the SSA. And you know, I played around with the SSA, like the SSAE and some of the other triggers. I don't necessarily like a really ultra light trigger. I kind of wanted something in the middle, in between, you know, a really light trigger and you know, the standard mil spec trigger. And the SSA is a kind of a really good medium, you know, a kind of a good in between. So there's still some good pressure on it. There's still some good weight to it, but at the same time, it's not super light. So for those of you who don't know, Geisley triggers, you know, I've played with a lot of different triggers, including binary triggers and, you know, some of the other fun triggers, and I have not found a trigger that is better than a Geisley. Okay, yeah, I truly have not. The safety selector switch. This is an ambidextrous one, also by Geisley, and this is the one that's a dovetail one. So there's no screw or anything like that. Like I said, it's a dovetail. It's an indent, and then you press it down, and then you slide this one forward, and then it just kind of pops into place with a little spring. And yeah, this safety selector, wow, it is a very crisp. It's very crisp. It's very nice. And what I really like about it is you know, Geisley didn't really. You see some of them that are, you know, kind of crazy designs, and I personally, I don't like that. I like it kind of being as close to mil spec as possible, or looking like mil spec as possible. So, and that's why I really appreciated this particular one. The one by Daniel Defense, the one that was originally on here, it was ambidextrous. However, on the right side of the firearm, when you're holding it, it was a normal size one. And as I'm holding it, you know, the length of it, it would always kind of just poke my finger a little bit like that. But yeah, having it on the right side and this side being shortened slightly, it's a nice feature. Okay. But yeah, like I said, the safety selector switch is amazing. Again, these are not cheap though. There are two variants. One is a cheaper one, and this is the more expensive one. This one's like $75, $80 or something like that. The trigger on a good day, maybe you can find it for like $250. The buffer spring I got for like $100. So all in all, just the internals that I swapped out of here, you know, it's not cheap, okay, but the internals, they run very well. Okay, my lower receiver, I love it. Great setup. Okay, so let's switch it back in. The bolt is, I didn't change anything about the bolt, and the charging handle is still from Daniel Defense. I do like Daniel Defense's choice on the charging handle. It's ambidextrous. I do like that. It's comfortable. Yeah, the charging handle is nice. My bolt, it's not dirty. It's just, I have used it quite a bit, so there's a lot of kind of wear on it, but it's not dirty. I assure you, I just cleaned my rifle. And by the way, when I do clean my weapons, I clean my weapons. Maybe you guys can see it from a previous video, but I did do a weapons cleaning video. But I have 2 ultrasonic tanks, like large, long ones, that I just dip the entire rifle in, so it gets squeaky clean. So yeah, let's move on to the next part of the rifle. Okay, I will put these away later, but obviously let's look at the ACOG since we're looking at this part of the firearm. So yeah, we've got the ACOG. I mean, what else can I say about the ACOG other than it is bomb proof? It's amazing. The one that and the reason I bought it in the civilian world is because I used it so often while I was in the Marine Corps, and not just because I'm used to it, but because I've seen how much abuse an ACOG can actually take and keep trucking. You know, many times, not many times, on a daily basis, I would see guys coming back from patrol being super tired and just throwing their rifle down. And this is hitting either, I've seen it hit concrete, I've seen it hit, walls and go against, armored trucks and get smashed up against it. And it's still going and it's still fine, doesn't lose zero. I mean, it's when they say things like it's bomb proof. I mean, I've never seen it personally, but I have heard stories where someone got on the wrong end of an IED, and then they came out, or they didn't come out, but the optic still was working. So it's a very, very good optic, especially for an AR. And I can't say enough good things about it. It's a great optic. Granted, it's not very good for like close quarters. You can train with it and get somewhat decent with it. They have that system where you can open both of your eyes and do it that way. You can affix a red dot to the top, or you can do a 45-degree cant like that. Obviously, I don't have either of those. I've trained enough with an ACOG to where I can do it with my eyes open and still, be pretty effective, at close range with this ACOG. But I mean, going beyond 50 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, 300 meters, 400, 500 meters, this thing excels. Okay, this thing is amazing, and having that fixed forward magnification, it's kind of a nice little sweet spot. Okay, it's not too much, it's not too little, and it's fixed. A lot of the other, and it's super light. It is extremely light when you compare it to something like an LCAN. You compare it to something like the LPVOs. It's much lighter. Okay, far more lighter, and there's less moving parts. This is the one is close to the Marine Corps variant. The only difference is the color. I prefer green over red. But the reticle is the original, like the chevron. As I said, the only difference is it's green, not red. But yeah, I wanted to get the one as close to the one that I had when I was in the Marine Corps as possible, and this one was it. But yeah, it's very, very, the simplicity of it is pretty solid. I mean, if you look at the reticle, yeah, there's like some other reticles out there that are fancier and they have more information on it, but at the end of the day, you really, with a fighting rifle, you just want simplicity, and you want to be able to pick it up and see your target and just shoot. And having that 4 mark and that 6 mark is pretty self-explanatory. I can give it to somebody who hasn't shot before and not tell them where to or how to use this sight, but automatically, it's just intuitively, you hold it up and you see this chevron, and automatically, okay, I'm gonna put the tip of that chevron right there, where I want my bullet to impact. I don't really have to explain too much. There's not a bunch of different numbers. It's the simplicity of it. And as I said, there's not a lot of moving parts. That's why the durability side of this is quite amazing. Especially you compare it to the LPVOs. A lot of people for a while, they were on that LPVO game where they were like, yeah, I can go take it from a 1X to an 8X or whatever. But again, you're moving that glass back and forth, and more moving parts, less durability. And then also another thing, something with like the LCANs, something you have to subconsciously also remember, and again, simplicity is key in combat and fighting. It's all about simplicity. You want to try to keep it as simple as possible. And, if you're at 1x and you're engaging a target, then you're moving it back to like 8x or 6x or something like that, and then you're putting it back up to your rifle, and now you got to engage another target. Or maybe you kept it at 6x and now you're going to try to engage a target that's really close, and then you forget about that, and now, oh man, so you got to move this around, and you've got to take those seconds to kind of fidget around and move your optic back from like 8x or 6x back down to 1x. You know, you're spending that time moving it around, and you're taking away that simplicity factor. And that's really why I like the ACOG. You know, you've got that simplicity where you pick it up, you get your sights down, and you shoot. Okay, and that's really that's really what you need to do. And I think the ACOG does a great job at giving that to you. But yeah, if you guys want me to do a separate video just on the ACOG, you know, please leave a comment, and I'll do my best to do that. So let's do my sight, my laser. So this is the dual laser, or this is the D-ball, and it's the I square or I2. And this one is the one, this one does not have an illuminator on it. What it has is a visible and an IR laser. The IR laser is the larger, longer tube, and then your visible laser is this one up here. And you can switch from that, and I've got that attached to a dual pressure pad. It's Surefire, and I'll go back to that in a second after I explain more about the laser. And the lasers, this particular unit, your day laser is not slaved over to your IR laser. And some people, I hear some people kind of complain about that idea, that feature. And the reason why they don't slave them over, okay, there is a reason. And if it was slaved, I would not personally want it, okay? The reason why I don't want it to be slaved is because I want different holdovers for this. You know, most of the time, if I'm shooting at something at night, under nods, I'm shooting under 100 meters, and probably even less than that. I'm shooting, you know, maybe 50, maybe 70 at most, 70 meters at most. And for that, you know, I want to have a separate hold on that IR laser for that particular distance, somewhere between 70 to 50. Whereas on the visible laser, you know, I'm going to be using that during the day, and I'm going to be able, because it's during the day, because it's during night, I can take this out, you know, maybe beyond 100. So for that reason, I want to make sure that I can do a separate hold for a separate zero for beyond 100 with the visible laser. But yeah, overall, this is I've been pretty happy with this particular laser. I don't know if they still produce it or not. Right now it's 2025. I picked this up in like 2021, 22, something like that. I think they did discontinue this particular model. But yeah, I did not want, they had other models, ones without a visible laser, and instead of the visible laser, they had an illuminator, and I didn't want an illuminator combined with my laser. I wanted to do a separate illuminator. And since we're on that, we'll move on to my Surefire. And as you guys can remember from my helmet video, I had a knockoff Surefire, and this one, and as I mentioned in that video, I said that my genuine Surefire was actually on my rifle, and that's this guy right here. So this is the Surefire, the 340 Vampire, and yeah, you can go from white light to IR. Hey, can you guys see it? Hope you guys, not really. I think the barrel's kind of blocking it. But yeah, you can go from IR, you can see the little IR indicator right there. But yeah, it's very smooth, very tactile. Oh, it's very nice. Oh, and by the way, I did replace both of the mounts. The Surefire came with its own kind of a side mount, and I'm not a real fan of it. And then the my D-ball came with its own factory mount that it's okay. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. If you want to run that, no problem. I personally, I prefer this arms mount. This is an arms, I think it's 17S. And then this one is by American Defense manufacturers. But both of these mounts are really nice. And again, these are like, each of those mounts, I want to say, I think the arms mount was like 150 and then this one was like 100. But yeah, both of them very solid mounts. You definitely, to me, in my opinion, I think you want to invest in good mounts because they hold the things on your weapon, and especially something that is holding a 0. You know, obviously the light you don't really have to worry too much about. It's not holding a 0 on anything. But something that's actually you're depending on a 0, you probably want to invest in a decent mount, in a good mount. And I bought and going back to the Surefire, so I bought the whole Surefire as a kit. And it, like I said, it came with a side mount, and then it came with this tail cap, and then it also came with the dual pressure pad here. Okay, and the way that I've done I've done the wire management. I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, the wire management here, it's all by done with these rail covers, and the rail covers are by LaRue. And yeah, I just bought a whole box of them and just put them on everywhere. I like to protect the railings on my rifle. But yeah, they have these little divots, little indentations here, these little channels that can hold the wire. And it hides the wire really well, and it holds the wire. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it. But yeah, so I like that. I like this particular product, and I run the wire like this. So try to keep it out of the way, try to keep it as clean as possible. And yeah, so that's the laser. This is my Surefire, the illuminator. And then finally, we'll move to the very front of the rifle here. Okay, you guys can see it. This guy here, this is the Surefire Mini 2, and before I jump into that, I'll say this particular piece. This is the Surefire. This is their birdcage variant. I personally like the birdcage. The other ones, I think the really popular one is that 3-prong one. I don't like it. I prefer like the bird cage. I want to keep it, looking as mil-spec as possible, but there is some functionality to it, and I'm not going to go too much into detail about it. And maybe I'll make a video on that, because I have 3 of them. I have this one, I have the flash hider, and I have the 3-prong, the war comp. So I have 3 of them. But the one that I'm running on this particular rifle is the birdcage variant. And there's a particular reason for that. And like I said, I'll go more into detail on a separate video. If you guys want me to, please leave a comment. But yeah, this is the Surefire Mini 2, RC Mini 2, something like that. This is the SOCOM one. And gosh, it is small. It's short, it's nice, and one thing I really love about it is, how easy it locks up, and it's in there, and it's solid, okay, and how easy it is to take it off. So I love this system that Surefire has kind of invented. So I love the system of how they take it on and off. This system right here is pretty amazing, and this was one of the main reasons I bought it. When comparing it to like other silencer or suppressor forms of taking it on and off, to me, this by far is the best one, the best system. As far as the suppressor goes, I mean, it's a decent suppressor. It doesn't necessarily do well at mitigating sound so much, and it does a good job at you know, hiding your flash, you know, taking away the fire. So it does do a good job of that, and especially, you know, when you're using it under nods, you don't really get that bloom in your face every time you're firing, or if you're doing like rapid fire, you don't get that fireball. So this does help substantially with that. But yeah, in terms of sound, it's not really great. But you know, realistically, that's not really what what a suppressor is actually used for. It is mainly used for you know, erasing that flash from the battlefield, so that way your enemy can't pinpoint you at night. And then also so you don't get blinded by your own muzzle flash while you're firing under nods. And for that particular reason, or for that particular purpose, this suppressor does an excellent job. Another thing about this particular suppressor, it does a really good job at being kind of right in the middle. You know, if it does too much on one end, then it's not going to do enough on the other end, or vice versa. You know, and there's some suppressors that suppress the sound really, really well, but your flash is still like a giant ball of flame. And some of them, they make the flash almost invisible, but it's super, super loud. So you've got to try to find that kind of like right in the middle, that nice medium that kind of does both decently well, and it kind of gives you kind of the best results of both. And to me, the Surefire does a good job of doing that job. It's not really great for either side, but it's a good medium, and that's why I really like this. And it is full auto rated, and I have tested it out on some full auto guns, and I have tested it out and played with it with my binary trigger, which, as you know, is not a full auto, but it's pretty close. It's about as close as we can get, you know, legally, without spending 30, 40, 50, 60 grand. So yeah, overall, this Surefire, the suppressor, you know, for me, it was a great choice. I have a SIG, maybe I'll do you know, I have the SIG Rattler in 300 blackout, and I've got a suppressor for that. And maybe I'll do my next video, I'll do one on that. But I'm not I mean, I play with it, you know, sometimes I'll use it, but if I could only choose one rifle, this is the rifle that I'm choosing every time. Each and every time, this is my rifle. And this is the one that, you know, that every time I go out, that I do any kind of training, any type of hunting, I'm always taking this rifle with me. Okay, so this is my main squeeze, so to speak. Okay, but yeah, guys, overall, that is my rifle. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and it really allows me to keep producing more content for you guys, and to keep giving you guys some more knowledge. Also, my next video, I'm gonna be doing like an EDC video, something where you know, a lot of people have been asking me to do like an EDC video of like things that I carry on a day-to-day basis. So I will be, today is Thursday, I will be making that video on Monday and pushing that video out to you guys on Monday. So, you know, please stay tuned. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Really helps me out. And thank you guys for the ones that are already subscribed. Thank you guys very much. It really, you know, you guys are the support team. You guys are the reason I'm making these videos. So thank you guys very much. I definitely appreciate it. And, you know, as always, guys, you know, have a good one. Stay safe.